Patriots, baby.
The Inky Man,
And he's on the door. And he's on the door.
It is real.
And he's on the door. And he's on the door.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
What up, what up, what up, what up? Inky Mann. And I'm in my morning voice. You have to excuse me. So anyway, like I promised, we're gonna get into this financial intelligence. But before we go there, all right, so what is financial intelligence? So, if you haven't been following the journey and you're just coming in, I'm trying to retire at 50, and I'm using this book, Cash Flow Quadrant, and other tools to make that happen. So to build my foundation, with the Cash Flow Quadrant is a guide to financial freedom. In order to retire, that's ultimately what it is financial freedom. I'm using some of the principles that are in this book. So one of the things that he talks about is financial intelligence. In order for you to be able to move from quadrant to quadrant, for you to be moved from the E and the S and get into this side of the quadrant, which is big business, or pretty much big business, or being an investor, which this will equal financial freedom, you'll have to have some financial intelligence. Excuse me, I'm all over the place. So this is what he says here. Success on the B and I side requires a particular kind of knowledge about money called financial intelligence. Rich Dad said that financial intelligence determined not so much how much money you make, but how much money you keep, how hard that money works for you, and how many generations you can keep it. He also said my rich dad was good with money and with people at work. He had to be. He was responsible for creating money, managing as few people as possible, keeping costs low, and keeping profits high. Those are the skills necessary for success on the right side. So it was interesting because I wanted to know if this financial intelligence was something that he came up with for the purpose of the book, or if that's something that's in general, is that something that people are speaking. And I don't know, but I got more examples. I got more examples to kind of back up what it is he's saying right here in this particular book. So I went to Wikipedia. I found this long ass answer, but it basically was talking about financial intelligence is the group that breaks down financial wrongdoings, tax evasion, as you see here, money laundering, and other criminal activities. And I knew this is not what Robert Kiyosaki had to be talking about. This is definitely not what he's talking about. Why would being a member of the financial intelligence community bring you to financial freedom? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are people who work in that agency and those agencies and may have built wealth, but that's not what he's talking about. So I went to this. So I came up on this article by Stefan Mantilla, The 4 Pillars of Personal Finance Explained. Again, is this something that Robert Kiyosaki came up with, or is he building off of something that actually does exist? So, what are the 4 pillars? Let's get into that. So according to her, the 4 pillars are asset and saving, debts and liabilities, income and expenses, which is something that Kiyosaki talks about, is knowing how to read a financial statement, knowing how to read it's saying debts and liabilities, but like assets. Well, you see it. The things that are listed here are on a financial statement. Knowing how to read that gives you financial intelligence. So in a nutshell, basic accounting, knowing basic accounting is going to at least give you the roadmap necessary for you to get to financial freedom, because it allows you to know where you are financially now. It gives you the ability to project where you can go. You can make budgets off of this. And essentially, even though I'm saying financial statements, we're talking profit and loss statements, we're talking balance sheets. If you're familiar with these terms, you're in a good spot. If you're not, those are the things that you will want to know, at least on the basic end of it. You can hire someone else to take care of everything, which in my case, I have done. I work alongside my dad with this. But these are the things that you would need to move from this side of the quadrant to this side of the quadrant. But let's break that down even more. I found someone else who actually has 7 ways to become financially literate, if you will, or to boost your financial intelligence. So here we have by Holly Johnson, 7 habits to boost your financial IQ. Number 1, read about your personal finance. So as you see here, many people are trying to learn personal finance, start their journey with a tried and true money book. Popular go-tos include Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, David Bach's The Automatic Millionaire, and The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. So as you can see, I'm on the right path. if this were standard, but I have to check out those other 2 books. Number 2, track your net worth. As it says here, if you focus only on how much you earn, it's easy to think you're getting richer when you're really not. Bringing in more money than you did last year, even at 6 figures, won't help you grow. But here's the point. Tracking your net worth, a term used to describe your assets minus your liabilities, puts your income into perspective. And this is what I was talking about. That's the balance sheet. Assets minus liability. That's where you would track those. Number 3, track your spending. This one should be a given, but it's not, because most people just spend instead of looking at what they have. You get a receipt, you throw it in the garbage, you buy something and the cashier says, "You want your receipt?" And you say, "No, not me." I'll tell the person in a minute, "Yes, I need that receipt for Uncle Sam." But at the same time, it allows me to look at how to budget what it is that I'm doing. Budget gets such a nasty word because it looks like you're being cheap or you don't have money. The truth is, though, a budget is your operating expenses. All businesses that exist on the planet have a budget. This is how they're able to project how much money they're going to make, how they're losing, if their business should stay afloat. People who use budgets also are the ones that are spending big or living frugally because they know what their money is doing at the current time. Let me break it down even further. If you have a budget, then you know how much money you're bringing in on a monthly, weekly, yearly basis, and then you also know what is taking away from that on a monthly, yearly, daily basis, okay? By having that budget set in stone. And as long as you follow that, then when opportunities come where you could put money into it to grow money, you can know that you're able to afford that. When things like trying to buy a house or trying to buy a car, have you ever noticed, if you've been in those situations, that the people ask you, or on the applications or anything like that, they're asking, what are you spending? Even a loan, what are you spending month to month, day to day, whatever it is? What is your budget? How are you operating? That's what that's all about. So you have to excuse that. Let that go. So let budgeting be something that is worthwhile to you. Don't look at it as being, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, you hear balling on a budget, and anything that has budget on it, for some reason it gives this nasty overtone, when in all actuality, everyone has a budget. It's almost, let me break it down even more. It's like when people say they're going on a diet, and then you hear that and it's like, oh man, they're gonna go on some kind of thing that they're gonna have to eat a certain way and all that. But everybody's on a diet. If you're eating, you're on a diet. Same thing with a budget. If you're spending money, you're making money, you have a budget. You're just not paying attention to it. Let's get to the next pillar. All right, so this one I like, and I do practice, meet with a financial advisor and or tax planner. My dad is my financial advisor, but he also is an accountant, bookkeeper. He did that in the past. He doesn't really want to do it now, but he did that in the past, so he helps me out. And who better than to have your father looking over your stuff and telling you, boy, you need to not do this, you need to not do that. And he sure as hell does do that to me. But that's what I have, and I'm also looking for a tax strategist. So you might be asking,
Well, what's a tax strategist? I don't get it.
and most people don't, because you don't, the average person is not focusing on taxes until it's time to do a tax return so that they can get their return, so they can get their refund, if you will. So we deal with taxes on a day-to-day basis. When you buy clothes, when you buy food, when you buy gas, which is now a luxury, if you will. When you're buying anything, usually there's taxes on it. The state of Connecticut, if at least at a point when I was living there was a time that you could buy clothes and there would be no tax up to like $50 or $60. So people would buy up to $50 and then maybe get a whole nother transaction and buy up to $50. See, that's financial intelligence. Someone might look at that and go, why are you going through all that? That's financial intelligence, all right? Knowing how to manipulate the taxes so that you can avoid them, all right? Because there's nothing wrong. Again, there's nothing wrong with avoiding paying taxes through legal means. It's when you're just straight up not paying taxes that your ass is in jail, just like Capone. Al Capone went through all that crime and all that, and you know how they got him? Not paying taxes. Murdering people, having people murdered, all sorts of stuff going on in his gang. He went to jail for tax evasion. Don't be Al Capone. So anyway, the reason I'm bringing up taxes, there's a part in the book where it says the worst advice to give your children. If you were born prior to 1930, then go to school, get good grades, and find a safe, secure job was good advice at that time. But for most of you, it's bad advice. And he says, why? The answer is found in taxes and debt. I'll get into taxes, maybe the next show. I'll get into that another time. But if you are not familiar with how taxes take away from your money and how you can get around them, then you're going to be giving up money to the government free for a long time. And while you may think that you're being enslaved by having a big tax return, putting your kids on your taxes, having other people doing your taxes so they can get away with trying to get you a bigger account, you're getting away with it. You will get slammed. Trust me. Alright? So you want to get into that. So let's get to the next pillar. Number 5, investing in yourself. Now this is something that I see a lot when it comes down to trying to get into business, building business, self-help and things like that. It's investing in yourself. That would be things like going to college, which is not really a good investment, but it is investing in yourself. Taking courses on the side and specializing in something. Like it says here, maybe you want to invest in a new course to learn new skills, or perhaps you want a certification that could lead to a higher paying job and better prospects. Robert Kiyosaki is big on telling you to go to seminars and things like that. You know, when you hear about seminars where they're teaching you how to flip houses or how to retire or buying homes and things like that. Those are investments in yourself. These are you putting money into these things because the knowledge that you're going to take from that is going to put you in a position to get further in life. That's investing in yourself. All right. Even looking at this, granted y'all are not paying me to do this, anything that's coming from this that you take and you move forward, that movement forward is investing in yourself. I'm just planting the seed. Let's get to the next one. 6, network. By reaching out and connecting with people in your niche or niche, you keep your finger on the pulse of your industry and make valuable contacts. This would be, I think this right here is very valuable, and it's something I'm doing now. For some of you who are tagged in on these videos, that's what I'm doing with you by reaching out and asking you to mentor me in certain things, because I can admit to myself, finally, that I don't know everything. So a network is valuable. And then 7, focus on what you can control. This one almost has kind of a spiritual connotation to it because this is a mental thing. Yeah. Anyway, because you have to take into account that some things are not within your control. So if you can control what you can control, you'll get further than standing still wondering why something is happening that you can't control, right? Sometimes we might put a whole lot of effort into nonsense, not realizing it's nonsense because we're in it. But let's put it this way. If you find yourself trying to make a decision on something and it's taking you a long time, it's because there are other factors that are at play. You're wondering what someone's going to think about you. You're wondering what the result is going to be. You don't want to make a mistake, which is a big mistake, because you have to fail. You have to make mistakes so that you can learn. You don't know everything. No one knows everything. Even the person who gives off the vibe that he knows everything or she knows everything is asking somebody some kind of question where they don't know something, okay? So I say all that to say, focusing on what you can control is one of the best ways to put your mind at ease, because at least the thing that you control is tangible. You know where it can go. You know how you can make it go to where it is. And then when those other, elements come in, when you're focused on what you can control, when the elements come in, it's easy for you to make a decision, because does this coincide with what it is that I'm doing now or not? Even if it's something that you're going to do later on. Is it something that you're going to do right now? Does it have anything to do with right now? No? Well, then let me just parking lot this, as that term is when you put something to the side. Let's just parking lot that little distraction, and we'll get to it when I'm on that part of the journey. So I think I've said enough, because typically I try to make these shows 10 minutes. I try to make it 10 minutes, but there was a lot. This is chock full of information. A lot of information here, and perfect for Motivation Monday. But with that being said, I hope y'all are learning something from this. I hope that things are going well from this. Big shout to my man Scotty, big shout to Rico, big shout to Augie, and y'all know why. I appreciate y'all for this. And we'll get into it. In the meantime, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. Hopefully this is helping y'all out. Continue to rock with me on this retirement journey. And I think what I will do, we'll talk about tax advantages on the next show. All right, which will be Wednesday. Y'all have a good one. Thank you for tuning in. Love y'all. Later.
In life, you have some people going around and disrespecting the elders. In life, you have some people going around disrespecting other people who step up in their life. All the people in front of you say you're not dead for hunger. Let me see another year right now. Everybody, every man and woman.
I hear you, lad. The big brothers watch.
The Inky Mann.